Hey everybody, one of the major witnesses in the Chevron lawsuit against Steven Donziger, where Chevron is suing Donziger under the RICO Act, or Racketeer Influence Corrupt Organizations Act, is Atossa Soltani. Beautiful name. Atossa is also the legendary founder and executive director of Amazon Watch, and she has worked closely with Steven Donziger on the matter of suing Chevron for allegations of pollution in Ecuador, when in reality, first of all, it was Texaco that was there as a minority partner to, that's right, the government of Ecuador and Petroecuador. In fact, Petroecuador owns 75% of the partnership, was responsible for most of the pollution. On their part, cleaned up none of it. Texaco spent $40 million on its part, and Petroecuador is left with the rest and did absolutely nothing but spew propaganda about Texaco and Chevron, all to the point of gaining money for themselves. Steven Donziger stepped into this, helped to engineer, arguably, the installation and helped for the installation of Rafael Correa as president, went in bed with Correa, and basically worked with him, even and his attorney general, even to the point of falsifying reports, writing reports for them that were false, claiming that Chevron had polluted the environment, and even had consultants submit documents, Donziger did, and had those documents altered to deliver his message, which was fraudulent. Again, that Chevron polluted the environment when in point of fact they weren't there, and Texaco had left in 1992. Who was left? Petroecuador, which committed thousands of oil spills on the land, and Atossa should be ashamed for not attacking Petroecuador and not suing President Correa for his involvement in this continued charade. Where's she now? Well, she's off to New Zealand. In fact, she may have landed by now. Meanwhile, Donziger sits his case basically collapsing around him, and now, at some point, he's going to have to, I think, cry uncle. Of course, that might not happen for other reasons, which I'll get to in another video. But his case is very weak. The bottom line, folks, is this. You've got to not be afraid to put the heat on a country like Ecuador because you say it's poor. People and organizations in that country have been hurting the poor for decades, and they've been getting away with it by tricking young Americans to come in and help them advance a propaganda where, oh, it's the American business fault, it's the Americans' fault, and it's the gringos' fault, when in point of fact, Ecuador's culture is as much responsible, if not more so, for the problems of its indigenous people more than anyone else.